the same rules would actually apply for subtracting decimals as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all, we've got a sum here, 34.6 plus 2.42. I'm going to bring that across a little bit larger onto the main screen on the working space first of all. Okay, what you may notice about these two numbers is that they both have decimal points in them. But what's really important to notice is that one of them only has one decimal place and the other one has two decimal places. And this is where quite often mistakes will be made. Okay, so for example, I would perhaps see somebody say 6 plus 42 is 48, and that would be wrong. So let's have a look at why that would be. So if we look at our units, our tens and our hundreds in terms of our whole numbers, we've got units, we've got the tens, and we've got the hundreds. So in between, we've got the units, and then we've got our tenths, and we've got our hundredths, and we've got our thousandths. Okay, I've written them in number form, right. Okay, so let's, for example, transfer across our 34.6. Well, the 34 is a 10 and a unit, so we start here, 34.6. Good, 6 is under the tenths. And then here we've got the 2, which is actually a unit. So that needs to sit underneath the unit here too. Okay, and then the decimal places, we've got 4 tenths and we've got 2 hundredths. Okay, and if you see, I've lined up my decimal points so they're directly above each other, and that's what you should be doing when you're adding decimal numbers. Okay, now what your brain may not like is the fact that at the top we've only got one decimal place and at the bottom we've got 2. So what you would do there, if it helps your brain make more sense of it, is to change that into a 0. Okay, so 60p is the same as 6 tenths. Okay, and now we simply add it down, and then we've got a 0 plus the 2 gives us an answer of 2. 6 plus the 4 gives us an answer of 10. And then we've got the 4 plus the 2 plus the 1 at the bottom gives an answer of 7. And then we bring the 3 down to the bottom because there's nothing to add to the 3 because there are no tens in this number. Okay, so instead of an answer of 36.48, as I would normally see when somebody works across the page this way, by lining up the decimal points, you can see we get to the correct answer, which is 37.02. Okay, let's have a look at another set of questions. Let's work through on another one. So let's look at B. Let's say we've got 106.32, and we want to add that to 181.347. So this one's got 3 decimal places, right? So if we're going to pop it into, let's have a look at our table over here. So let's remove the last question. Okay, and now we can bring that across. So we've got 106, so that's our 100, our tens and our units. So our 1 sits underneath the hundreds. So you've got 106, and we've got our decimal point, and we've got 3 tenths and 2 hundredths. Okay, and again 181, we've got our hundreds, our tens and our units. So that's 181. And again decimal point, and then we've got 3, 4, 7. And we're going to add those two together. Okay, and again, we don't like the fact that we've got a space up here, so we could just fill that in with a 0. It doesn't change the value. Okay, so let's add our thousandths together first. We've got 0 at the top and we've got 7 at the bottom. And now let's look at our hundredths. And we've got our 2 plus our 4, which is 6. And our tenths, we've got 3 and 3, which is 6. Don't forget your decimal point. And now we work with our units. 6 plus 1 is 7. Our tens, 0 plus 8 is 8. And finally our hundreds, 1 plus 1 is 2. So that gives us an answer of 287.667.